It's a little awkward.
No, I do know that, like, you know, her early game is...
Oh, it's you.
I
Please
wouldn't
help.
necessarily say her early game is bad, just that, like, you can't have a low-strength unit fight the high, like, the bulkiest enemies on the fucking map. Those calves don't play around. Like, they're not they're not your frail GBA calves that if you've only played 7 and 8. Because 7 and 8's calves aren't bulky, right?
They're not super bulky. It helps that they're usually holding steel weapons.
Oh, so you can double them?
And they have no avoid. And the weapon triangle is stronger in FE7. That's something that, when it comes to hit rate issues in FE6, that's something I don't really see a lot of people talk about, is the weapon triangle is plus and minus 15 in FE7. And the weapon triangle is almost always in the player's favor. So that's 5 extra hit that you're missing out on most of the time.
Well, I know we're not doing unit analyses, right? Which honestly surprised me because I know you like really enjoy that aspect.
I think it's because I just forgot to do it in the first part, and I didn't feel like starting partway through.
That's funny. Do you mind if I give my... Since we talked about like whether or not BRuttger is good, do you mind if I give my thoughts on him?
Oh,
just
you
like
go for it.
While you're trying to figure out how we get out of this mess?
You go for it.
So, in hard mode, BRuttger can prove to be a very reliable unit. His bases are higher than Deike's, and his offense is comparable to Marcus's in the early game. He is one of the few units to have enough accuracy to reliably hit some of the game's bosses. With the killing edge, he can easily be the best boss killer in the game, and he will only become stronger upon promotion, where he gains plus 30 critical. He has enough speed to double every enemy in the game, but Gel. And while his strength growth is not spectacular, his base of 9 in hard mode, along with plus 2 strength granted on promotion, should leave him with sufficient enough amounts of strength. He also has a fairly high HP and a fairly high defense, and his only real flaws are a lack of ranged options and average movement. BRuttger's support triangle with Chlorine and Deike boosts his already high critical rate to extreme levels. With a Wu Dao and A/B supports with both of them, BRuttger can reach over 100 critical. This support also boosts his already good avoid. It should be noted that Deike supports with both BRuttger and Chlorine build very slowly. If the player is patient enough, this support triangle can make BRuttger a highly deadly unit. Otherwise, Chlorine supports with BRuttger very easily, and that alone yields nice avoid and nice crit bonuses that will generally suffice.
You're reading a wiki entry, aren't you?
I'm reading the Phantom wiki entry. Could you tell from the like weird sentence structure?
I'm gonna be honest, it's because the whole thing was collected. Because usually whenever we talk about units, we have to like stop and pause to think about what we're gonna say next. But it sounded like you were reading off of a note card, and I'm going, is this a high school book report? What is this? It sounds so super put together.
So I'm on the wiki page. You want to know the funniest fucking thing?
Oh, I would love to.
So under possible endings, it just has his one sentence ending if you don't bring him in the tower.
Oh, that's so funny.
It doesn't even have his full ending.
It doesn't even say the full one. I guess they didn't bring Rutger to the final map.
But I thought he was the best boss killer! How do you kill Idun without him and his 100% critical Wu Dao?
The 100% crit build is funny, but it takes forever to set up, and it is definitely not what makes him good.
No, it's not. The high strength, high speed. And honestly, high skill. I do also want to note that, like, the Phantom Wiki, I'm not surprised that they left this out, but this is actually, like, a big part of his kit, or rather lack thereof. BRuttger has the worst fucking luck.
Yes, it's
like,
really
BRuttger's
annoying.
Always going to face crit. If there is ever a Binding Blade remake, BRuttger's stocks go up considerably if there's an Iron Ruin in the game.
Yes.
Because I genuinely think that if there were an Iron Ruin, you would glue that to him. Much like often in some games, you would glue the Feely Shield to one specific flyer. Like, I think if there's an Iron Ruin, BRuttger is a good enough... Like, he's not the only unit who has shitty luck, but he's a good enough unit that I think you glue that to him outside of maybe an Iron Man setting, where, like, usually that's best passed around like a joint.
Or on your Lord if you plan on letting them see combat.
Yeah.
The one time I took a scroll off of Leaf.
But yeah,
crit.
Rutger is very prone to facing like 1 to 2% crits. That said, usually a unit with that weakness is worse in an Iron Man setting than they are in a vanilla setting. But from having talked to my friend Akira, who like basically only Iron Man's games and basically rates units on Iron Man, they said that like Rutger is still just as good in Iron Man. Like Rutger is still, because Ivy. If we keep talking about Engage, but like it just keeps coming up. Just bear with us, viewers. Ivy is the best unit in Engage. She has hit issues and luck issues, and you really can't patch both of them up reliably. Like you can, but it takes way more resources than like you really want to spend. Ivy is a lot worse in an Iron Man, to the point where like from what my friend says, like you just don't use her in an Iron Man because you just can't hit things.
I'll be right back.
She gets crit.
Sound like someone knocked him over. I'll be right back. Keep gushing about Ivy.
Okay. So Ivy is a lesbian. And that's pretty fucking PogChamp base lord. I love lesbians. But yeah, I wasn't really gushing on her. I was saying that she's like it's actually anti-gushing. I'm saying that she's not good in the Iron Man setting. But yeah. That is it's more to Rutger's credit than to Ivy's credit, in that the terrible flaw of like constantly facing crit from enemies does not make it so you don't want to use him in an Iron Man. He did die in my Iron Man. He got crit by Wyvern in Arcadia. It was one of the 2-move Wyverns who I didn't realize had moved, because 2-move Wyverns in a Fog of War desert is not great game design. That would be my take on that. So he got crit by one of the 2-move Wyverns that so I put him to be able to kill one, and it didn't get him. No.
I can't wait to go back and hear the start to the story now.
I'm trying to remember. Because no. I thought I had killed all of them, but one of them hadn't moved. I thought I had killed all of them, but one of the ones in the group hadn't moved, and it started moving when Rutger killed the other ones, because then he moved within 2-turn move of it. I'm talking about why Arcadia is a bad map.
Oh yeah, Arcadia. I'm sure
I will have things to say about that when we are on that.
I'm sure we will spend a lot of time talking about Arcadia when we get there.
Speaking of like things coming out of the woodwork, Arcadia Defense Force is in full work in 2023. There's always been like some people who say that Arcadia is actually a great map. And like I think Arcadia is pretty objectively like poorly designed, but I don't hate it as much as some people do. Like I hear some people say that it is the worst map in the series.
Nah.
And like no, Battle Before Dawn exists, Hunting by Daybreak exists, the Snow Shoveling Revelations map exists. But like Arcadia has some significant design philosophy. Like it has several design philosophy flaws together, and they like compound on each other, right? Like desert items, I don't mind them. I do mind when they're luck based and there's no indication, right? Yes. So like the idea is supposed to be there's bones. There's never bones. It's like FE12 is the only game where there's bones.
My way I see Arcadia, Arcadia specifically, is if only 1 or 2 of its elements were there, it'd be okay. But it's Fog of War, Desert, and Turn Crunch because of a Gaiden. And when you just combine all 3 of those together, I think that's what really makes it a super frustrating map to play.
And that's not to mention the sleep stabs too.
Yeah, there's also status you have to deal with.
I think status stabs in GBA are generally poorly utilized. Even in like ROM hacks, which like tend to use a lot of the things that IS uses poorly, they tend to use them better. I think that even in ROM hacks, status stabs are handled quite badly.
My biggest problem with them is they're so lopsided. They're really good on the enemy, but the moment you put a status staff on one of your player units, it doesn't do anything.
Well, it's not even that they're really good on the enemy. They're really annoying on the enemy more than anything. Because, like, the cure to a status staff is just have someone who has Restore, and the cure to silence is have 2 people who has Restore.
Yes.
So all the status staff really means is, like, you don't get a healer this turn. And, like, that's just, I don't know, that's not fun difficulty necessarily. Do you want to roll the dice since all that's left is Eric and the Pirates?
Ooh, that's a good idea. Let's see.
I think the only game that has actually made status staffs good, in my opinion, is Fates. Because they, like, completely reworked the system, right? Instead of having, like, there's no restore staff. It's either a temporary effect that wears off, or a permanent effect you're just stuck with.
Let's see. Who are we losing this map?
Not my boy, not my boy, not my boy,
Who
not
is
my
it?
boy,
Who
not my
is
boy,
it?
not
Who
my
is
boy,
it?
not my boy, not my boy.
Oh,
Oh, well, it's a good thing we
okay.
didn't spend 20
Yeah.
minutes training him to the Pirates.
Hooray, we have a winner, Lou.
That's why I wanted to spin before we ground on the Pirates.
Yeah, and
Not
I'm
because
pretty
like it would
close
give you the opportunity to grind someone else, but because like it would be 20 minutes of us just grinding someone who doesn't matter.
Make sure you can see this again. Make sure they can see that again. So Rip Lou, I guess. Rip Fire
The
Tomes.
Legend of Lou ends.
I'm more upset over the losing early game Fire Tomes than anything.
It's okay. We're getting another mage soon, and so here's the thing. Lolina is a slow mage, but in Binding Blade, it's actually easier to fix.
Oh my god.
I don't know who it is who does that. I know you've talked about how like there's someone who says that and it annoys you.
Yes. Every time Lilina's barely brought up in passing, it's the whole 3-paragraph long essay about why Lilina is amazing or whatever.
Can I ask you a question?
Uh-huh.
What does it mean that it is easy to fix speed in FE6? Like, is it just that the speed wings are not contested? Because that's not true if that's the case.
I believe it's that there's more speed wings than energy rings, and you get the speed wings earlier.
I feel like there are several units who want speed wings, though, right? Like,
When it comes... I often think about that, who I would want to give speed wings to, and the people it usually comes down to for me is... I'll give them to Deike, if I feel like keeping Deike relevant a little bit longer. Sometimes I'll give them to... If I'm really goofing, I'll give them to a funny unit like Roulette.
I mean, Barter. A non-funny unit like Barter. If you go Barter route, I think that he
Yeah, I think
benefits
Barter,
from speed wings, because he has speed issues.
he really does. It's really sad.
Milady, potentially. I know you can use the body ring instead, but if you don't want to limit her, like if you don't want to make it harder for her to rescue,
Yeah.
the speed wings on Milady can do
Great
what the
trooper.
body ring does and allow her to rescue. Because she does also, like she's sometimes gonna struggle to double.
Yes.
She can have that doubling issue.
From what I've heard from Milady, you can either just train her in her joining map until she gets 1 or 2 speed level ups, or you can give her a speed wing and it'll accomplish almost the same thing.
Yeah, or you can give her the body ring and the speed wing, and then she's like basically set for the rest of the game.
Yes.
And that's what I like to do. I like to give them both. But if you don't want to make it so that she can't rescue anyone ever, which that's not even true. Like, she can still rescue people. It's just sexist aid formula makes it harder. Like, I think she loses a couple of relevant rescue targets, but I don't know who off the top of my head.
I don't remember. I don't remember what her con is at base. It's something 7-ish, I think.
Let's ask the fandom wiki.
That is a wonderful idea.
Milady. Fire Emblem wiki / Milady. There is no unit by this name. Did I spell her name wrong?
I think the
Oh.
correct spelling nowadays is Melady, Melady. Which is funny because I always thought Milady was an incorrect translation for melody.
Mm-hmm. So according to the Pitfalls wiki, she has 9 Constitution,
Okay.
which would give her. Oh well, on promotion she gets +1, so 10. So that would give her 10 aid because of the sexist aid formula, right? It's 20 minus
Yes.
con.
That sounds right.
Which that's actually a good number of people she can rescue. I don't think she can rescue Z's. Oh my god. Jacob, I might be wrong, because according to the fandom wiki, and this is what makes me think that the fandom wiki has incorrect numbers. According to the fandom wiki, her hard mode bonuses affect her constitution.
No. This isn't Engage. This isn't Thracia. Your build doesn't go up.
All I'm saying is the fandom wiki has her normal mode con listed as 9 and her hard mode con listed as 10. We are going on a magical journey with this wonderful website.
The weird thing about the fandom wiki is, like, it's almost beyond fixing at this point.
I'm gonna ask Oifibot.
Asking Oifi is a wonderful idea.
FE6, Milady. Okay, according to Oifi, she has 9 Constitution. So I think what happened is some fucking wiki intern just added a couple of numbers to everything on Milady. And then they were like, oh, she doesn't gain mood. And they probably changed that back. But they didn't change con. Why the fuck does the fandom wiki have hard mode bonuses con? Is this okay, I need to check if this is a consistent error. Percival.
Ooh, I just realized I haven't gone shopping yet. I need to fix that.
Don't forget fire tomes.
I do need to buy me some fire tomes.
Okay, according to the fandom wiki, normal mode Percival has 12 Constitution. Hard mode Percival has 13! What the fuck, fandom wiki?
Wow.
Hard mode bonuses do not give you Constitution!
They really just looked at hard mode bonuses and said, just give them +1 or 2 to everything. I can't believe this. This is so upsetting.
I'm not fixing it though. I'm leaving it like this.
Oh, just leave it.
In this video and the last one, I've mentioned a significant number of issues on the fandom wiki. I'm not fixing this fucking thing. This is an artifact. If you, dear listener, would like to fix it, please don't. It's funnier to leave it. Please
really
don't.
is.
It's funnier. Just leave it like this. It's funnier this way. In fact, make it worse. Make it worse. If you're tempted to fix the fact that hard mode bonuses apply to Constitution, just give them 5 Constitution for hard mode bonuses instead. Make it worse.
And 3 points of move too.
I reflexively was like, oh no, Lou died. I forgot what the fucking challenge run was.
I do that too.
We have to read his fandom wiki.
Oh, that's true.
And it's a eulogy. It's a eulogy. Okay, we're reading the personality, right?
Go for it.
Start with profile. Hailing from an orphanage of, I can't pronounce that name, Lou grew up with Ray and Chad. That's not a wiki problem, that's a me problem. Lou grew up with Ray and Chad after his mother had disappeared when he was just 4 years old. This is all one sentence, by the way. Inheriting his magical talent from her. That's a real run-on sentence.
Wow.
After witnessing Byrne reduce his home to ashes, Lou temporarily stayed in the Elmine Church, but then he reunited with Chad on the battlefield to join Roy's party to punish those who took part in the orphanage's destruction. After the war, he established a magic school for other children with no family.
Byrne reduced it to ashes. That is perfect.
After witnessing Byrne reduce his home to ashes, Lou temporarily stayed in the Elmine Church, but then he reunited with Chad on the battlefield. Personality.
Oh no.
Having a personality of the right. We need to get out of here, right? This is the get out of here o'clock.
I kind of want to get out of this map right now. If Marcus didn't miss his 60-something% versus Eric, then that would be a lot easier to do. Yo, 3 more avoid.
So I'm assuming, doesn't help at all. Those captives are gonna kill the shit out of Chad. You need to rescue him out of there.
We are.
Is Eric bosses move last, right?
I believe so. Eric's at full HP because Marcus missed.
Eric might attack Marcus though, right?
Yes. I have the Silver Lance on him. So we Silver
So
Lance.
that can make up for it? Question mark.
That is so gross.
He hits it though. I know it's gross because it's one less than 69, but I think we have one turn.
Don't
if you
worry.
rescue,
we're just gonna run. I'm just gonna pick him up.
yeah.
And
If you
run away.
rescue, we have one turn. Like, we probably have 2 turns before the Cavs show up. Actually, if you rescue and run, yeah. Like, we're good, but
can also
it is
throw
get
this
the
at
fuck
the
out of here o'clock. Oh, true. Or Shanna. I've heard she's bad.
Oh,
Ooh,
that's what I've heard
who are we
too.
giving the robe to? Is she robing?
I'm.
Hear me out. Roy, because you know he won't die.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm probably gonna give a lot of my stat boosters to Roy.
It's weirdly Iron Man adjacent, right?
Because you never knew who's gonna die.
I think you save the energy ring until you need to warp skip and you give it to whoever's warping.
That's what.
Because
I was
if you
too.
give it to Saul or whatever, and he's gonna be your warper, and then he dies before or whatever, right? Like,
Yes.
I think you just because I'm assuming that the first map we want to warp skip is 14x because
Most
it's gross to
likely.
play. I think that because 14x you can warp skip real slow. Like, you have to do it all in one turn, but it doesn't have to be turn 1.
Yeah.
So you can like use it before warp skipping.
Okay, we're gonna go for this. Rescue Marcus out of the way, and then go for Killing Edge.
Oh, we're feeding the kill to BRuttger.
Sure. We gotta feed him kills to make him good, right? Apparently he's bad.
If he misses, I'm gonna say this is proof that BRuttger's bad.
Oh, there's that low percent crit we were talking about.
Yeah, no, he can fucking. I think if you get goddess icons, you give them BRuttger though. Like,
Yeah, you do get one.
no one wants them. Oh, base.
I do think it's funny that you do get a goddess icon in chapter 6. It's in one of the chests on the right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at that bad level up. Hey, at least you're at luck.
I'm really glad that we as a community have transitioned from selling goddess icons to recognizing that they are a specialist item. Most people don't want one, but the people who want one want one.
Really want one. It's the luck bell curve of if someone has no luck, you realize it. If someone has 30 luck, you realize it. But if they're somewhere in the middle, you just don't ever realize luck is a stat.
Unless there's a proc skill related to it.
Yeah, unless there's
Are
luck.
we really support grinding when the Cavs are chasing us down?
I still have one turn before I need to leave, and I want to buy something from here. I forgot to buy stabs.
Well, so if you're support grinding, why aren't you grinding Rutger and Clarine and Deike to get that
True.
Wudao?
Yeah, let me just go grab Deike real quick. I left him near the start.
I think it's a little late for that. I do have to go to the bathroom, so you're gonna be solo for the next 2 seconds.
Cool.
Bye.
That's a lot of cabs. That's a lot of enemies. Give stuff, please. I guess I don't need to buy fire tomes. I kind of want more vulneraries, so I don't really need these. I can buy more before I need them. Hey everyone, Denny kind of got pulled away a little bit longer than she thought she was gonna be, and I didn't feel like showing the entire 5+ minutes of me stalling around until she got back. So I figured I'd just put some fast forward inventory management on what I was trying to do. I tried to get some last minute Healy XP. I wanted to get a hand axe on Marcus and try to get him a little bit more axe rank before moving on, so I had to go 1v1 a pirate down here. I wanted to shuffle around Wade and lots of inventories a little bit to make those a little bit better. And I believe I wanted to give Boars an extra javelin for the next map. I don't think he'll use it, but I don't care. So, sorry if this last part was a little awkward to watch, but I didn't feel like letting the cursor dance around for 5+ minutes. And since Danny's usually here to say this, I guess I'll be the one to say it. If you enjoyed yourself, make sure you like the video, comment your favorite part, and if you want to see what happens next, please remember to subscribe. Thank you.